right, welcome to the Daily Report. Fuel prices remain the same for the next month, and we are going to tell you why the Senate chose a plenary to ensure or to look into the matter of Kawira Mwangaza, the governor for Meru County. Later on in the marketplace, we're going to be having Salim Sore and Hamed Hassan, who are going to be telling about Islamic banking. But first, the highlights.
Tonight,
the motion having been negatived, the route of a special committee is abandoned, and that now implies that the Senate will investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County, in plenary.
Senate resolves to probe charges against Mwangaza through plenary. Also tonight, Mackenzie cornered.
Your Honor, it is their word, and they are saying that it came from the Bible. We just want to confirm.
Second witness in 429 Shakahola massacre told court that Paul Mackenzie and 93 others used Bible verses to dismiss education, healthcare, and social interaction. And the High Court has ordered the Inspector General of Police to ensure that plainclothed officers do not mask their faces when dealing with protesters.
Welcome back to this live broadcast. My name is Hibak Said. On sign language interpretation tonight is Catherine Simaloi. To start us off, the ongoing Mpox outbreak has been declared a public health emergency of continental security by the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, 3 cases or 2,863 cases have been, and 517 deaths across 13 countries have been reported in 2024 alone, primarily in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And Odida with the details.
On Wednesday, the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, issued a stark warning that a total of 2,863 cases of Mpox have been reported in 13 African countries in 2024, with a staggering 517 deaths. The CDC has now declared these new cases of Mpox a continental threat. Africa CDC Director General Dr. Jean Kaseya underscored that the emergency declaration follows wide consultations with various stakeholders, assuring the public that travel restrictions are not yet necessary. This comes after the World Health Organization declared that the risk in Kenya still remains hence.
Tunahimiza wananchi wakuwe na maji, wanawe mkono, wa sanitize, waangalie distance, wa observe social distance, wasikwe wakaribiane sana, na mtu akipatikana na dalili hizi anashauriwa kutembelea kituo cha afya ili apate kuangaliwa zaidi na wapate matibabu kwa haraka.
Suspected cases across the continent have surged past 17,000, a significant increase from 7,146 cases in 2022 and 14,957 cases in 2023. At the same time, cross-border transmission to previously unaffected countries and distribution of vaccines has been cited as a major concern in ensuring the disease does not spread. Ann Odida, TV47.
Thank you, Odida. The impeachment case against Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza will be prosecuted and determined by the Senate plenary, with senators vehemently opposing the motion to constitute 11-member committee, insisting that the plenary route is more transparent and will give Kenyans time to follow the case. Our senior parliamentary reporter Elizabeth Mutuku followed the Senate sittings and prepared the following report.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay, the nays have it.
For the second time in 2 years, the Senate is set to hear the impeachment case against Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. The embattled governor faces allegations of gross misconduct, including violation of constitution, abuse of office, and failing to follow legal procedures. The case has intensified the protracted rift between her and Meru County Assembly. Mwangaza stands accused of several serious charges, including failing to appoint required board chairpersons, disregarding recommendations to dismiss certain county officials, employing an excessively large personnel staff, and inflating the county's wage bill beyond legal, among other charges. Majority Whip Boni Halwale and Minority Leader Stuart Madzayo insisting any routes would serve the purpose provided Meru people get justice.
Whichever way you decide, the office of the Leader of the Majority, and indeed in consultations with the office of the Leader of the Minority, we will oblige. We have no preferred position.
Njia ile ambayo itachukuliwa ni njia ile ambayo sisi sote tutafuatilia. Na sote tuko hapa, tutajadiliana na tuona ni njia ipi inafaa kuelekea. Lakini kwa hii sasa hii motion ambayo iko hapa, mimi naiunga mkono nikisema kwamba ni sawa kabisa.
However, majority of the senators were opposed of the motion to reconstitute 11-member committee to listen to the impeachment case against Governor Mwangaza, instead insisting the need for transparency for Meru people to follow the case as well justice to be served in the matter.
Mstahiki Speaker, pia ningependa pia kutoa kauli kulingana na mapendekezo za Senator Wavihiga Otsosi kwamba tunafaa kuangalia kama tunaweza vunja kaunti nzima. Ningetaka kumwambia kwamba panya akiingia kwa gala, uchomi gala unatoa panya. Kwa hivyo, Mstahiki Speaker, mimi naunga mkono tuvalie njuga swala hili mpaka mwisho.
The people of Meru, the governor, the MCS, Kenyans at large will be able to watch the proceedings in an open and transparent manner. I'm not casting aspersions on the proceedings of the committees. It is supposed to be open, Mr. Speaker. It is supposed to be open, and it is open as per Article 118 of the Constitution 2010, Mr. Speaker.
Severe allegations being thrown by both parties. And I think if we reduce this to a committee, others might end up arguing that it's a clandestine move to be able to either save or impeach the governor. So in my view, I think it is best if we carry out plenary.
Some of the senators who supported the motion stated that for thorough prosecution of the case, arguing that approach would allow for more detailed investigation.
It's not fair to drag the entire Senate to sit here just to listen to these allegations. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, many of the people who are shouting plenary here, we have been with them through these processes before. You will be sitting there, and there will be 3 people in this chamber. Many of them do not even sit through those proceedings, as much as they want to make noise this particular moment and say they want plenary.
Circumstances is the committee way. So I want to ask you, members, that we agree to support the committee way because it is going to help us deal with this problem of Meru once and for all.
Embattled Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's impeachment case will be heard at the Senate plenary on Monday and Tuesday next week. Elizabeth Motuko, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Tonight, the High Court on Wednesday ordered the Inspector General of Police to make sure that police officers stationed to quell protests are wearing their uniforms and have name tags applied in accordance with standards operating procedures. The orders follow an urgent appeal filed by the Law Society of Kenya, prohibiting NPS from sending out plainclothes police personnel in reaction to protests. Mike Kagongo reports.
In a landmark ruling Wednesday morning, High Court Judge Bahati Mwamunye ruled that police officers must no longer hide their faces to avoid identification. In its petition, the Law Society of Kenya argued that by deploying plainclothes police officers, the police action creates a chilling effect on exercising their right to demonstrate. The Faith Odhiambo-led organization said plainclothes police officers who are identified cannot be held accountable for their actions and hence without care in the world use excessive force abduct and even kill demonstrators. The ruling read in part that police officers acting under direction and support of the National Police Service shall at all times affix a name tag or identifiable service number in a clear visible part of their uniform when engaging with persons who are or planning on assembling, demonstrating, picketing or petitioning, and shall not remove or obscure the same. When interacting with individuals who are or will be gathering, demonstrating, picketing or petitioning, Justice Mwamunye further ordered that the police to refrain from hiding any vehicle's identity, registration or symbols. The court directed the applicants to serve the respondents through the National Police Headquarters for onward transmission and file affidavit of service by close of business on Friday, August 16. Police have until August 21st to file their responses to the Law Society of Kenya's application, with the matter set for mention on September 17, 2024 for further directions. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike. Fear has gripped Marsabit County after a brutal attack left 8 people dead. Their bodies burned alongside the El Dimtu Perole Road. In response, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission issued a statement on X assuring residents that the government will act swiftly to prevent further bloodshed. Anastasia Mukabi reports.
A growing wave of fear has gripped Marsabit County after a horrific attack yesterday left 8 people shot and burned on the El Dimtu Perole Road. This deadly ambush is just the latest in a string of violent attacks along this route.
This is not the first incident. These have been happening along this border. This border has been so porous.
Watu wanakaa hapa hawana bunduki, hawana kitu kujisaidia. Serikali ndio wakati shida itatokea itafikia, lakini kabla huko sisi tunataka NPRs tupatiwe kwa wingi.
Terrified residents are now calling for immediate government action, demanding a permanent solution to this escalating violence.
Akiwa namna hiyo, kama hata sisi mnafanya vile au wanafanya sisi, na kwa vita vibaya, vita kubwa. Badala hivyo, serikali achukue hatua pande na pande nyingine tafadhali sana.
Response to this, authorities released a statement on X expressing their deepest sympathies to the bereaved families and acknowledging the shattering impact this latest attack has had on the Marsabit County. The NCIC praised the local political leaders for standing united in this crisis, assuring residents that the government will take immediate and decisive action to prevent any further bloodshed. They further urged the community to remain calm as investigations are underway. Anastasia Mkabi, TV 47.
In today's explosive continuation of the Shakahola massacre trial, Pastor Paul Mackenzie and his 94 co-accused faced court in Mombasa. They are charged with manslaughter for the deaths of 429 followers in Shakahola Forest.
Today, in a harrowing turn of events, the second witness in the Shakahola massacre case took the stand at the Mombasa Law Court. The witness testified against Mombasa-based cult leader Paul Mackenzie and his 94 co-accused, who face manslaughter charges following the death of 429 followers of his Good News International Church in Shakahola.
Your Honor, it is their word, and they are saying that it came from the Bible. We just want to confirm, to the best of their knowledge, it's from the Bible or not.
The witness revealed a chilling detail that Mackenzie allegedly enforced a ban on interacting with the outside world, isolating his followers in the forest.
Ilikuwa ni kabla ya kuanza kufunga kwa sababu alisema kwamba ni kila mtu ashiki vyake.
JCK, a pseudonym for the minor whose identity remained concealed for safety reasons, recounted to the court his journey with his mother, one of the accused. They traveled from Rift Valley to Shakahola Forest, where they were allocated land as their new home.
Mpangilio huu
Wewe kama JCK, huyu Pastor Mackenzie alikwambia?
Hapana, salisema kwa mkutano.
In a gripping testimony, 17-year-old JCK recounted witnessing the death of one of Mackenzie's followers and his own narrow escape from death thanks to the intervention of police officers.
JCK, huyo wa kwanza alihusika kwa kuchimba mabwawa?
Hapana.
JCK, whose real name is withheld, testified that he knows all the 94 accused individuals as they lived together in the forest.
Weza kuamsha watu karibu 83. Sema unawajua hapa mbele ya koti.
Samira Mohammed, TV 47.
Tonight, President William Ruto has admitted, I beg your pardon, that universities erred by issuing letters to students set to join various universities starting September 2024. Speaking in Kisii on Wednesday, the head of state pointed out that universities sent out letters to various institutions. Let's take a look.
Going to induct our precious. After a hue and cry on the exorbitant university funding model,
mambo ya masomo katika university na TVET, tumeweka mpango kamili.
President William Ruto has today directed public universities to recall admission letters for students set to join higher learning institutions and issue new ones with the amount of money parents can afford.
Juzi zilitokea mabarua kutoka university ikiweka pesa ile gharama ya course ama ya masomo ya mtoto. Hiyo ilikuwa ni makosa. Sasa nimeambia wizara wafanye kazi na universities na TVET ili watume barua ambayo sio gharama ya masomo. Watume barua ya kumwambia mzazi ni kiasi gani atalipa.
Speaking in Ogembo, Kisii County, after commissioning the Bomachoge Chache Affordable Housing Project, Ruto assured that his government has increased the funding allocation to the education sector that will enable parents to pay less money.
University na kila TVET itatoa barua ambayo itahakikisha kwamba hakuna mtoto wa Kenya atakosa nafasi ya kusoma university ama TVET kwa sababu ya uwezo wa mzazi. Wale ambao hawana uwezo, serikali ya Kenya tutawalipia. Tumeweka basari, tumeweka scholarship, tumeweka loan, tuhakikisha kwamba watoto wetu wote wanasoma. Ile maneno ya kusema ati watu wanaenda kufanya harambee, hiyo maneno mimi siwezi kubali. Kwa sababu tuko na pesa ya kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wetu wanasoma.
The president averred that the previous admission letters issued to students indicated high amount of cost of the courses offered were not affordable to majority of the parents. This comes as university students from Kilifi County have issued a stark ultimatum threatening to launch a massive strike if the government fails to abolish the newly implemented university funding model.
Most of the students have been placed in the band 3 and 4, and according to our school, they should pay roughly 60,000 Kenya shillings, which is not possible for parents who is a peasant farmer, but has just been placed in the band 3. And up to now, the government has not given a clear criteria on the way they are placing the birds. We kindly request the government to get away with this confusion before the schools open the next week. And if they are not able to correct the mistake that they have done now, let them do away with the new funding model and they bring the old model. Otherwise, September, tutapatana.
Government increased budget allocation to fund the higher education sector from 45 billion to 82 billion. Reporting for TV47 from Burabu, Nyamira County, I'm Kombo Alfayo.
Kenyatta's Jubilee Party has dismissed claims by Azimio leader Raila Odinga that the fourth president was involved in the formation of the broad-based government. Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni told Odinga to stop using the former president as a scapegoat for making the unpopular decision of joining the Kenya Kwanza administration. Apollo Kamau tells us more.
Jubilee Party has fired back at ODM party leader Raila Odinga's claims that the country's fourth president, Uhuru Kenyatta, played a role in forming the broad-based government, terming his assertions flat-out false.
There is no point of throwing words or dropping names of individuals if you think that the decision you took was wrong. I've had on many occasions to inform my party leader, who is away on duty, as to what is happening. Even tried to explain to him, because he is mimi sielewi mnafanya nini. So for Raila to say that it is him who told him crushing on straws.
On Tuesday, Odinga, during a burial in Elgeyo Marakwet, in the company of Ruto's close ally Oscar Sudi and other leaders, said the former president called him to speak to Ruto, a statement that he contradicted himself on, saying Ruto looked for him to seek help in running the government.
Sasa ile nchi inachomeka, Uhuru ndiye alinipiga mimi simu. Uhuru akaniambia mimi tafuta Bwana Ruto ongea na yeye. Kenya ikichomeka hatakuwa na nchi nyingine. Mpaka hii tuzime hii moto, watu waketi chini waendelee waliwane. William ndiye akanitafuta. Na mimi nikaongea na yeye wazi kabisa. Mimi unajua mambo yangu, mimi sifichagi mambo.
Kioni argues a letter by the former president mourning the loss of those killed in the June protests, urging leaders to listen to their constituents, was enough testimony that Kenyatta was against the Ruto administration.
So I think it's also necessary for you to decide where do you belong. Are you with the people or are you with William? Do you want to rescue William or do you want to rescue Kenyans? We in Azimio, now we are led by now the only person, our senior politician left with us is Kalonzo Musyoka, have decided to be with the people.
Kioni has further hit out at leaders from the Mount Kenya region, seeking political capital on using Uhuru's name, among them Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
It is high time that everybody stops now using the name of Uhuru. Wewe ulimtukana, kana matusi yako. Wewe umeamua kuingia kwa serikali, kaa kwa serikali. You remember Baba is very good. Yeye mwenyewe ndiye alikuwa tuambia siku nyingine hapa mambo ya mnyama anaitwa Damakuili.
Azimio principals have dissociated themselves with Odinga's move to join government, with Kioni saying Uhuru endorses Kalonzo's 2027 presidential bid. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Thank you, Apollo. Low youth interest in agriculture, inadequate succession planning, and limiting cultural beliefs have been cited among the main factors that are hindering the flourishing of the agricultural sector in the country. The Agriculture and Food Authority has today launched a strategic plan to ensure the growth of this important sector in the country. Quinto Wafula now reports.
The 2023-2027 strategic plan from the Agriculture and Food Authority was launched today at Nairobi Sarova Pan-Africa Hotel, an event which brought together a number of stakeholders to analyze ways to improve this gold mine sector.
Key result areas, the KRAs, that will guide the actions. 1, production and productivity. 2, market development. 3, regulation of CU crops. 4, institutional capacity development.
Different stakeholders stated the milestone inventions they have made and at the same time calling upon for more investments.
I will be asking the sector to team up with AFA, with the ministry, so that we can propel this sector to the higher level and Kenyans feel that you were there and we were there as leaders and we change the course for the betterment of this country when it comes to food security.
The newly sworn-in Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Dr. Andrew Karanja, who was the chief guest, assured his support to help this sector, stating that he aims to ensure that the import of agriculture products is reduced by investing more in Kenyan farms.
Apart from, I have seen the strategic plan stock of four resort areas. I think the other challenge we have is to monitor, making sure that whatever we are trying to do, we can account for the results. So a plan to make sure that we monitor those results, we are sure that we are reporting on progress so that we be able to account for what we are doing.
Dr. Karanja at the same time called upon stakeholders to streamline all communications and ensure that they monitor all projects and strategies to the latter.
We have not linking, especially to the younger people, the new Gen Zs, they are asking questions, and genuine questions.
Quinto Wafula, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Quinto. Over 3,000 traders were impacted by the fire at Toy Market, with one trader estimating their losses in the millions. And as reconstruction efforts were underway, they expressed to our reporter Ruga Eval that their primary wish for a permanent solution, as the market has been plagued by fires for over 3 decades. Let's take a look at that.
Toy Market, a market that sits on a 6-acre piece of land, is well renowned for its uniqueness and has been in existence for many years, serving buyers from every neighborhood in Nairobi. However, the blow from fire incidents in the market has left many estimating significant losses.
Tumekuwa mara 4, 2007, 2019, 2023 and 2024.
A trader by the name Saja is one of the traders who have been in this market for over 20 years. The recent fire incident in the market has left him speechless and hopeless.
Sasa sisi lazima tu tunganganie kwa hii yetu. Vile imechomeka hivi unaona sasa hivi niko hapa na ujenzi, sasa naendelea na ujenzi, hata nimesimamisha mafundi, mabati ndio hizi kwa hapa umeiona. Sasa nangoja wajenge nimalize tena ndio nijue tena naanzia wapi.
However, the hope that tomorrow will be better has brought him back to his same source of his revenue, hoping that perhaps tomorrow might be better than today.
Unajua sasa Kenya hapa hakuna kazi. Lakini hata sasa hivi mimi ningepata mali nyingine ya kwenda ningewachana hata na hii biashara. Shauri hakuna haja unaweka pesa yako alafu baadaye unakuja unaadhirika na moto tena unarudi zero unaanza maisha fresh.
It is not just Saja facing such a predicament. Other traders who have been in this market for more than 3 decades echo the same sentiments, highlighting that resolving the push and pull over who owns this parcel of land would bring the fire disasters to an end.
Kini ya moto ni nini? Moto natoka wapi?
Wote tulichomekewa. Tulichomekewa wote. Karibu wengi, almost 3,000.
And even though they point no accusing fingers to anyone, they have many questions over the issue and are seeking a solution just in case of another possible fire outbreak.
Baka waanze njiro. Strangu tu pole pole mpaka baada ya kuinua biashara wanatuwekea moto naingia tena. Sasa tunashindwa shida ni nini?
Hatuwezi sema nini ndio kosi ya moto, but Kenya tunajua hii soko ilikuwa ijapeanwa kama soko, lakini saa hii juzi vile tulienda mpaka kwa governor na akatupea usaidizi na akasema saa hii Toy Market imekuwa recognized as a market. All the 42 title deeds zimekuwa revoked na akasema sasa soko ni soko na tunajengewa soko kama soko.
Additionally, their request for a perimeter wall around the market has been addressed by the county governor's office.
There is 100 million ambayo iko kwa hii financial year na tutafanya hii perimeter wall immediately. Alafu tuangalie how we can build a permanent modern market. Ndio hizi mikasa za fire at least zisikuwe zikipatikana.
The process to reconstruct the Toy Market is still ongoing. Although their biggest desire at this point could be
tumejenga na hatuna kitu ya kuweka kwa hizi viwanja na tuko na watoto wanaenda shule, so tunaomba kama hata wanaweza kama hapo tupatie loans juu bado tuko na bank loans zingine zenye zinatusukuma.
Ruga Eval, TV47.
Thank you, Ruga. Tonight, the Parliament has approved the name of AG nominee Dorcas Oduor, who is set to make history as Kenya's first female Attorney General. The National Assembly has officially approved her nomination, and her name will now be sent to the President for formal gazettement with her previous role as Deputy Public Prosecutor. Dorcas Oduor is poised to make a significant impact in her new role.
Member for Turkana West, is it West?
History is being made as Miss Dorcas Oduor steps into the spotlight as Kenya's first female Attorney General. She takes over from Justin Muturi, who held the position for just 2 years before the cabinet was dissolved. Oduor's name is now set for presidential approval by President William Ruto. Starting her term under President Ruto, Oduor will serve for at least 2.5 years, with a crucial role advising the president on legal matters. She is entering office during a turbulent time, grappling with strained relations between the executive and the judiciary. A major challenge awaits as she addresses complaints from the previous Attorney General about lack of consultation on key decisions.
That office requires
a complete change, Mr. Speaker, so that the problems this country has been facing in legal advice, Mr. Speaker, are sorted out once and for all.
I never believed that Luo would, a person of Luo ethnic extraction would ever hold, just like the other one of Mbadi. So we are eternally grateful, and we wish her Godspeed when she serves the country in that sector.
Parliament has voiced hopes for a smooth advisory process with Oduor in charge. What sets Dorcas Oduor apart? With over 30 years in public service, including roles as Deputy Chief State Counsel and Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, she brings a wealth of experience. Her extensive background has impressed MPs who recently vetted her alongside Beatrice Askul.
Is returning back to the Attorney General chambers, having worked there before, and so she understands the role expected of her as the next Attorney General of this country, and being the first woman to also occupy that house. She has all the knowledge and the capacity, and that has been demonstrated.
I think he looked at the competence of these two individuals, and I think these two Kenyans, and I hope that as they assume those offices, they'll be able to demonstrate what we saw in the interview and be able to deliver to our great nation of Kenya.
The National Assembly Committee on Appointments has also approved Beatrice Askul for the positions of Attorney General and East African Community Affairs and Regional Development Cabinet Secretary. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
All right, that story by Paul Kirobi takes us on our first break. We take a short break.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Salim Mvurya, the new Cabinet Secretary for Investment, Trade and Industrialization, is stepping into the spotlight as the digital trade champion for the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, a role previously held by Rebecca Miano, now the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife. Upon assuming his new position, Mvurya made it clear that his top priority is to revive the struggling manufacturing sector, which has seen a sharp decline in the few recent months.
At the tail end of the hump day, Salim Mvurya took over the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Industry, pledging changes in the vital sector.
We accelerate the growth in investments. If you look at the figures, there has been a very good progress in terms of investments, now at around $1.5 billion. So that is a priority we will have to keep accelerating so that all the efforts that have already been put in place and the foundation will be very critical. Naivasha is very key to our economy. Dongo Kundu with a number of issues to resolve. The issues of resettlements and infrastructure will be very key for us to work together with the team to make sure that we continue to open new frontiers of investment.
His predecessor, Rebecca Miano, rattled off the various achievements she bagged in the last 9 months.
The following select schedule is a portrait of the footprint of my tenure at the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry. Together with the State Department of Trade, we did work of international nature. We oversaw the initiation of an international initiative that culminated in the signing of significant trade agreements or economic partnership agreements. We had the Comprehensive Economic Partnership, the CEPA, with the UAE. We signed the European Economic Partnership Agreement in December. That had a lot of work had been done, but remember, the last mile counts.
Mvurya, in his new role, stated his interest in strengthening last-mile efforts within different value chains.
Will also be a key priority because, like, for example, the EPA, the EPA is opening a new market in 27 countries, in Europe, and that is a very key area that we will need to see how we continuously facilitate even other stakeholders, the private sector, but also ministries that are in charge of different value chains.
Among other pledges handed down was the 18-county aggregation and industrial parks and various international MOUs between Kenya and the US and the European Union. Jane Minor for TV47.
Sports News.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Welcome to the marketplace. Tonight we're going to be having a very educative session. We have with us, of course, Hamed Hassan, and I have Swale. Of course, we're going to be telling us something about Islamic banking. What does that even mean? What should it mean to you? And how exactly are you going to be affected by it? I'm going to start with you, Hamed. Welcome to this session. As KCB Bank, what exactly is Sahel banking? Where did it come from? How is it important to people who are banking, especially Muslims, when it comes to Sharia compliance?
Thank you very much. And I think Islamic banking, as you write, I can put it in a very simple context, is banking that is compliant with the Sharia principles. So as KCB, we looking about inclusivity, because initially most of the Muslims were not banking because interest or riba is prohibited from the Quran and the teachings. So we wanted to avoid what we call mattress banking from people who could not go to conventional banks because it does not conform to their Sharia principles. So that's where we started around 2014.
Right.
And operationally from 2015 we've been up to now doing quite well. Thank you.
Right, and Hamed Hassan is the head of KCB Sahel Banking. We're just going to be looking at that a little bit more. But we have Swale Osore as well, who is a Sharia manager. Swale, maybe just tell us, Sharia might be something very foreign to some of the viewers tonight. What is Sharia?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to be able to talk to our viewers, talk to our customers, that we offer Sharia compliant products. And when we talk about matters, Sharia is very wide.
Right.
But here at banking, we are looking at matters that deal with transactions. How can we be able to transact in a Sharia compliant manner? Meaning our transactions adhere to certain principles that have been outlined or espoused in the Sharia tenets. Yeah, that's what we mean about Sharia compliant. It means it's complying to principles that have been outlined in the teachings of course, of the Holy Quran and the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him.
Right, and we'll be looking at different tenets of, Sharia. What exactly does compliance mean? And maybe if you could just tell us, Hamed, when it comes to financial inclusivity, a lot of individuals don't know that Muslims usually get, different products when it comes to banking. There are things that Muslims cannot engage in. What does inclusivity mean? Sharia compliance is also quite new in the banking sector. How exactly has Sahel, tried to inject itself into the banking industry?
Thank you. I think we'll start by inclusivity. We talk about the areas that you cannot participate in from financial matters as a Muslim. And we'll speak about prohibition of interest, the issues that prohibit gambling. We talk about issues that prohibit excessive speculation. We talk about, in terms of business, matters like tobacco, alcohol. So those are things that are not allowed in Islam. So Sharia banking basically allows you to trade in ethical, because Sharia banking is about ethical banking. It's about things that have a good social impact to the economy. You avoid things that have harm to the society. So that's where we come in strongly to ensure that we provide these solutions to our customers in issues that uphold to the ethical needs of our teachings.
Right. Hamed, a lot of people watching this might be asking themselves, well, if Muslims are doing ethical banking, are the other people doing unethical banking? What exactly is the distinction between these two? Maybe, when it comes to the perspective of other people, are Muslims just trying to be special? What is this ethical banking?
Probably we'll start by answering it in this way, that for Sharia banking, we spoke about prohibition of interest.
Right.
And we talk about profit and loss sharing. So somebody will want to understand what's the difference between interest and profit. When you give money on money, you use money as a commodity.
Right.
For instance, you ask for 1 million and the bank asks you to give you 1.2 million.
Right.
The 200,000 will be treated as interest. Because money, we have sold to you money. So in Islamic or Sharia banking, we don't lend. We actually finance. In the finance, we trade. So when you want 1 million, for instance, you must state the purpose. And the purpose is, say, purchase of, let me say, a vehicle. So we will purchase a vehicle for you and resell to you. So Islam prohibits interest but allows trading. So we gain from the markup that for the vehicle we have sold to you. So if we just give you a million and ask you for the 200, then that is not allowed in Islam. So again, Sharia banking is not only for Muslims. So it's not correct to say that the other people are not practicing. So we also have quite a number of people who believe in this concept. Even the non-Muslims, a bigger percentage also, who still enjoy these services because it's open to all.
Right, it's open to all.
Yes.
Now, Swale, Hamid has said something very interesting. He said that we do not treat money as a commodity. We do not trade in finances, but we do trade in other things. So Islamic banking makes that possible for you. But, you know, Islamic rules and regulations are also different in different schools of thought, right?
Exactly.
When it comes to scholars, especially in Kenya, there are tenets that some scholars might think is correct, some that they think is not correct. Where is the distinction, and how is it different in different banks?
Thank you very much for that particular observation. To me, I would say it is a difficult question,
right?
Because of the divergent views of the scholars about the proposition.
Right.
But our take is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 270, has stated clearly that He has prohibited riba, that is interest, but He has permitted trading.
Right.
And this particular aspect now, we look at it from perspective of how are we able to trade.
Right.
That is the best element that we have to look at. Therefore, you look at the schools of thought, all of the schools of thought agree that actually trade is permitted.
Right.
The only difference comes in how do you do it, maybe. Maybe the process could differ. Yeah, that's just like the same way we do maybe in the banking sector, that you could come for working capital.
Right.
Working capital, I've decided to give you cash equity to go and invest in your business. Then you're able to share the profits.
Right.
And the scholars say this is the best model of doing business, in that we're able to invest and then we're able to share the proceeds at the end of the tenure that we have agreed, either monthly or bi-monthly or after 3 months or so. But again, that those scholars who see the best model is the buying and the selling, in that the institution has to purchase the goods and then they sell to you. And then you're able to on-sell these particular goods and then make profit and then be able to pay back to the institution. So it depends on which model as a bank you see it's suitable for you.
Right.
In relation to the Sharia principles, because the Sharia principles, they're very wide.
Right.
So you decide. Of course, we have a Sharia advisory council that advises the bank, so that to be able to say this particular products are Sharia compliant or not. So it depends on which school of thought you want to take that is possible to bring in the Sharia principles and also be able to meet the customer needs at the end of the day, because we're here to serve the customer in a Sharia compliant manner.
Right. Swale, there comes, you know, the balancing of ensuring that your customers get the services that they need and ensuring that, of course, everything you do is, you know, to the liking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
Maybe if you could just tell us, of course, KCB needs to have an edge because other banks are also offering Islamic, you know, financial services.
Exactly.
What is the edge that KCB has?
Oh, good. That's a very good question. The edge definitely is that KCB Bank has branches countrywide.
Right.
We are reachable. In each and every town center that you'll go, KCB, you'll get a KCB Bank branch.
Right.
And in this KCB Bank branch, when you walk into it, you're able to be offered a Sharia compliant product.
Right.
But right at the doorstep where you are. In any town center you move in, you're able to be served in a Sharia compliant manner. But we have other banks that, but they do not have the reach or they don't have the network that we have.
Right.
We have agents across the country. We have branches across the country. We are even available on the platforms, the apps, on the mobile app. We are able to trade. We are even able to do the internet banking just at the comfort of your bedroom or the comfort of your office.
Right.
We are able. So these particular services that are there, they are able to make us have an edge over the other players in the market. And also we are liquid. We have quite a number of money that we can able to give you. In fact, you realize that at times when somebody goes to get maybe $1 billion or $2 billion from a small bank, it could be difficult.
Right.
But at KCB Bank, because of the large asset book, we are able to finance a customer into billions.
Right.
Yeah, so that is actually the edge that we have over the other banks that are also playing in the market.
Right. I'm sure a lot of Gen Z Muslims and even non-Muslims right now are really getting into this because the comfort of my bed, that seems like it's so convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if you could just tell us, when it comes to regulations, right?
Yes.
There could be different schools of thought, and Swale has said that it doesn't matter what the school of thought says. There is a blanket rule that a lot of banking institutions still follow. But regulations don't necessarily have to follow up with Islamic banking.
Yes.
What are the regulatory challenges that you faced?
Of course, operating from a conventional system from a CBK, a regulator perspective, we want to thank the regulator because there was amendments to be able to allow Islamic banks, considering that banks are not allowed to own assets. To do trade. Now we were allowed to do that, but still there is quite a number of matters that we're engaging the regulators in terms of substantive acts to support Islamic banking in this industry. Right. But Kenya is ahead in the region in terms of the Sharia banking, but there is a lot of engagement still going on to make it better. And we are key stakeholders in this, together with other practitioners within the industry, to make it a success. So I think we have made rightful steps in the right direction. It can only be made better, especially from an investment perspective, because one of the challenges that most Sharia banks have is the areas of investment. Right. So in Sharia compliant tools, so matters like sukuks and all that. So there's a whole segment of engagement from regulators, talk about central bank, capital market authority and all that, to harmonize this so that we can have different vehicles for investment. Right. That will be a key success factor.
Right. Yes. So regulatory bodies, policy makers, how exactly do they add on to this? Of course, some of the people within the banking sector are saying that it's a growing and budding sector, especially when it comes to Islamic banking. We go for a short breather. When we come back, more of this conversation. Don't go too far.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Welcome back to the marketplace. We are talking about Islamic banking, Sharia compliant banking, and Swale Osoro, who is the Sharia manager at KCB Bank, was just going to tell us about liquidity, because you did mention it and you said that it's easier, especially for people who are seeking finances, who are Muslims, to come to KCB because it's more liquid. How exactly does that work?
Thank you very much. once again. You look at KCB Bank because of the regulatory framework of CBK regulations that you cannot finance the obligor limit. You cannot finance to one customer to a quarter of your, of your asset, of the core capital.
Right.
And this one is actually brings in because at KCB Bank we are over $1 trillion of the worth of assets, and therefore for one person to come in to seek for financing, you realize that is a very big, that's a very large balance sheet.
Right.
And therefore this one gives us actually a leverage that we are able to finance a customer. And in very rare cases will maybe a customer come in to seek financing for over maybe $500 billion. It cannot actually happen for one customer.
Right.
Therefore we find that at the level that where we are, for us to be able to do business, you require to have money. You require to be liquid for you to be able to finance those customers who come in with various needs that they require to be able to meet their financial engagements at the end of the day. Therefore, this availability of resources in terms of capital that we have, in terms of money that we have, therefore, gives us an appetite to be able to finance. You come in as a consumer, you are a salaried person, you come in, you want consumer finance, we are able to take care of you. You are a small businessman at micro level, we are able to take care of you. You are a big corporate at the corporate level. You want billions of shillings, we are also able to take care of you because the statutory regulations we meet, the ratios are all fine and the balance sheet is up to date that we are able to finance any customer who comes in with any financial need that we will be able to do. And in case of any other need that may be quite big, we can even syndicate with other banks, but that has not, we have not really arrived there because we don't have big projects that actually we are financed via that. But as where we are right now, any customer who comes in, we are able to meet their financial obligation because that is the key issue that is supposed to be met in banking, because you've seen other banks go down due to lack of liquidity. They come to withdraw their funds, but they're not able to withdraw because there's no money. But at our bank, you can be able to withdraw on any platform that you want. You can be able to seek for financing at any branch that you walk in, and we shall be able to meet your financial needs whenever you need them.
Right. Swale, you said any customer can get this. And I have friends who are not Muslims who keep saying, Islamic financing and Islamic banking sounds like such a good thing, and I would love to partake in it, but they feel like it's exclusively for Muslims. Can you just maybe clarify and demystify that for us?
Oh, thank you very much. This is also a very, very good point because most of the customers have asked us when we go to customer engagement forums, actually, we are non-Muslims, are we able to come and be and get the finances that we require? Are we able to partake your products? And we say, yes, it's available for everybody. And I've always given our customers examples of the halal restaurants that we have in town. Right now in town, we have a lot of halal restaurants. Of course, they target Muslims. But at the end of the day, when you go to that hotel to partake food, no one will chase you away to ask you your religion. Because we are here to serve the halal food. But here at the banking sector, we're here to serve the halal product propositions, products and services that are halal, meaning they adhere to certain principles that are supposed to be followed. Processes that are in line with somebody's faith, but they don't discriminate in terms of gender, in terms of religion, in terms of maybe somebody's skin concoction. We don't do that. We actually come in to finance. We are coming in to offer a solution to humanity. Therefore, any person who is called a human being, then you are really welcome to be able to be served, irrespective of your faith.
That means that even you, if you're not a Muslim, if you do not identify with the Islamic faith, but you do like Islamic financing, you can partake in Islamic banking. Hamid, maybe if you could just tell us, when it comes to, the Qadi, they do come in when there are issues or when there is a customer who may not necessarily like the way that they have been served. When it comes to the Qadi and, some of the Islamic scholars, do you have their support? Do they come in when there is, a dispute between you and your customers? How do you handle disputes?
Thank you. I think we are governed by the Sharia law as we spoke, and these scholars, we call the Sharia Advisory Council. Some people call them Sharia Board. These scholars guide us on our day-to-day operations in terms of the products and the different contracts that we make under the Islamic banking. And whenever there's a dispute, and there will always be disputes, they always also come in because we refer these cases, or sometimes customers go to them straight to say there's this matter, and they actually come in strongly because they have a full understanding of the Islamic transactions, what we call fiqh mu'amalat, to guide on how to do it. And they have been, I would call a safe haven for us in terms of any dispute. And so far, they've handled it pretty well. Yes.
Salah, do you share the same sentiments, especially when it comes to dispute management, when customers come in and maybe don't agree on certain things, or maybe repayment is an issue? How exactly do you handle that?
Basically, at KCB Bank, since we started, we've not had quite major battles that have gone to court. But of course, at times they find their way to court due to one reason or another.
Right.
But some cases I've had where we have the out-of-court, settlement or alternative dispute resolution mechanisms that have been adopted. And actually, the scholars come in handy in that they're able to talk to these particular customers. And in most cases, what we've had done is that when customers come to us and they don't seem to understand how we do our operations, we refer them to the scholar so that they come in when they have full knowledge of what they're coming to do or how the transaction is going to take place. So they do it before, they come in for the financing, and then they're able to understand how this moves ahead. Then, of course, we do customer engagements with our scholars, and they're able to talk to our customers. And through that particular engagement and forums of discussion, they're able to iron out the issues that they could be having. And at times we find that it's basically maybe knowledge gap from the side of the customer, not being able to understand what Sharia entails and how it's supposed to operate.
Right.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that confusion also comes in sometimes when you are dealing with some of your employees.
Yes.
Now, Sharia banking does have its tenets, it has its own rules, and it's important for the employees who are going to be handling these customers to understand this.
Yes.
How exactly do you handle, employee capacity building? Do you, have classes, special classes for it? How do you handle that?
Okay, thank you. I think the most important thing for us is to mention that one, we have employees across all religious divides.
Right.
So not all our employees, even under Sahal, are Muslims.
Right.
So the starting point is that we need to do a lot of capacity building in terms of creating knowledge for the staffs that are handling our customers. And as my colleague mentioned, that Sahal products are sold across all the over 200 branches at KCB.
Right.
This means that if you walk in any branch, even if you don't meet a Sahal specific employee, we've given them basic knowledge to be able to handle your issues. In case there's any technical aspect that probably they cannot handle at that level, then we are here to provide from the department. Swale, myself, and the people at head office. So we can say that our staff, the whole staff, customer-facing staff, have close to 70% understanding of what Islamic banking is, to be able to comfortably deal with customers. But the cases that are beyond them, we always, they refer to us, and we handle them, we support them on that. So we do a lot of town halls for employees. We have a lot of even internal trainings, both virtual, online, physical, that we do for ourselves to build their capacity to be able to comfortably handle these products and queries that come from customers end to end.
Right.
Yes.
Now, Islamic banking is a new frontier. So that means that, you will stumble a little bit, you'll make new products, the products might not work, you'll go back to the drawing board and so on and so forth. When it comes to this, Swale, maybe if you could just tell us, what are some of the challenges you've faced, the growth challenges that you've faced when it comes to meeting client needs and customer needs, and how do you package whatever needs that they would need you to, solve for them?
Thank you very much once again for this other difficult question. How do we package the products to make them, to fit in the customers? Because the customer is king, as we are told. But also, on the other hand, we have to follow the Sharia tenets.
Right.
And actually, to be very honest, it has been a challenge. Because here comes in a customer who wants to be served Sharia-compliant products in a conventional way.
Right.
You see, in that he or she wants to get exactly how he gets a product at a conventional part of it.
Right.
So you find that you have to package it in a manner that, or look for a contract, a Sharia-compliant contract, that is going to be able to make the customer feel comfortable, to make the customer have what he or she wants, but again also meet the Sharia requirements. Therefore, this one comes in, it brings in a lot of, actually even training on the part of the customer.
Right.
To make the customer understand that actually, when we talk about doing Amrabaha to pay directly to the vendor, for you to go and pick the goods from the vendor, actually we are talking about aspect of us purchasing and then selling to you at a markup. So the customer has to understand. But again, the customer again who wants money, tell no, I want cash maybe myself. So we have again to devise a contract that is going to be able to enable the customer actually access the cash as he or she would require. Therefore, you find that there is a very tough element between balancing the customer needs. Of course, we are customer centric because we exist because of the customer, to serve the customer, and also this the Sharia needs that we need to meet, and therefore that's why we normally have actually quarterly Sharia board meetings to be able to tailor products that are going to be in line with Sharia, and also tell them the challenge that we are facing from the customers,
Right.
so that we are able to iron out and be on the same platform.
Right.
Actually, it's a great job.
Right, because Swale said that I ask him difficult questions. Now it's time to ask you a fairly difficult question.
Yes.
You are the head of Sahel Banking, and
Yes.
of course it is your job to make customers understand that some of these packages might not conveniently solve their problems, right?
Yes.
How exactly do you do that? How do you go around some of the Islamic rules to ensure that whatever the customer wants, the customer gets, but it is good in the eyes of God as well?
I think the key principle in Islamic bank is about Sharia compliance.
Right.
So sometimes, unfortunately, if the request is not Sharia compliant, probably in terms of the investment area they want to do,
Right.
we will be happy to tell them that we do not offer this under Islamic banking.
Right.
However, considering that we are in a market that customers have different needs,
Right.
and our work is to give solutions. So we solution customer according to the different contracts as he spoke. So we are privileged that because we are operating in a market that the other developed markets, Malaysia and all that, and also guided by some standards about AOFI, it tells us what to use for each customer need.
Right.
So we have, I will say, almost products that mirror the conventional side, almost maybe over 90%.
Right.
So there isn't a case I am aware of a customer who will come to us and is looking for a specific solution that we miss into our Sharia compliant product basket.
Right.
So we do a lot of, and I think just to what you mentioned about challenges, the biggest challenge that we have is we need to demystify the whole aspect of Islamic banking.
Right.
When we say it's interest-free banking, the notion that customers get that when we give you 1 million,
Right.
then you get back 1 million.
Right.
So honestly, then we will not be in business.
Right.
The only thing is that we are talking about it is not interest we're going to profit. Others argue and say there's no difference between interest
Right.
and profit. That we just try to coin the whole aspect, and which is not true, because we also now we start with a lot of educating those customers
Right.
to see the difference, and actually later on they come to appreciate, because we have. When our Sharia board is looking at what we have done, I think we are answerable not only to the Sharia board, but we are answerable to Allah. So if I sit down with a customer to make him understand that, okay, this one, we do this because this is how the teachings, how it is done in the market.
Right.
There's sometimes people who come with a different view, they come and settle down and we do business with them.
Right.
And that explains the trust the customers have us. By the way, we are the biggest Islamic bank in terms of the market in this country.
Right.
We occupy a market share of around 32%. Nobody else is doing that. So that is something that we also have a strength in us. So we have a wide customer base of whom we have learned a lot also in terms of how to solution them.
Right.
And the product basket is not comparable to any, because these many customers compared to the that we have, we must look for different solutions, personalized
Right.
solutions to all of them. And they have so far given, because we talk about deposits in excess of 21 billion.
Right.
And that's a trust that these customers have with us. It couldn't have happened so if they don't believe in our products.
Right.
And in they say it in Kiswahili, kurudisha mkono.
Right.
We support their businesses as well. So we have given out in almost 19, actually 20 billion for them to also invest in Sharia compliant investment options.
Right.
So we share profit and they're happy. They've made something out of it. We've made something out of it. Then we are in business.
Right. Everyone is happy at the
Yes,
end of
sure,
it.
yes.
There's something that Hamed has said, Swale, that is very interesting.
Yes.
That a lot of people have the notion that if it's Islamic banking,
Exactly.
and I want 1 million shillings, I only get to give you back 1 million shillings, right?
Exactly.
There are divergent, issues or divergent thoughts on what exactly Sharia banking is. And maybe some of the people who come to you say that, no, this is Sharia banking. Whatever you're doing is not Sharia banking. How exactly do you, cohesively bring those thoughts together and ensure that some of your customers understand how exactly these things work?
Exactly. That's now a good question.
Right?
Now very easy. That one is that's now easy today. Thank you. Yeah, because we're just trying to bring about actually what's the difference, the perspective of how the customers view,
Right.
perspective of how we view from a business perspective. Yes. And this is very easy. We normally tell our customers, basically those ones who are in business. You are in business yourself.
Right.
You're doing business yourself. And at the end of the day, you expect to make a return in that business. You expect to make income. Therefore, why should we give you 1 million to go and put in your business,
Right.
make income, and we wait for you for 12 months and return back 1 million to us? He says,
Right.
yeah, that one does not make sense because I'm also, if I'm in business, then I should also get a return.
Right.
So actually, you try to put them in your shoe.
Right.
That actually we are also here to do business with you. Therefore, there's no way we're going to give you 1 million shillings.
Right.
You stay with it for 6 months and then bring back 1 million shillings. Even the inflation rate will have hit that particular amount of money.
Right.
That what you used to purchase with 1 million shillings then, 6 months ago, you may not even be able to get it maybe today.
Right.
And that's what we tell our customers, that even these goods, like we talk about buying and selling to our customers, like the business stock. So we buy this business stock and then sell to you. You as a customer, you're going to sell this business stock to the market, to the consumer. You make income. You make good money from what you're going to sell.
Right.
Because you can't buy this water at 100 shillings and sell it at 100 shillings. Then
Right.
that's not business. But when you sell it at a markup of 120, then you've made a profit of 20 shillings. You are happy. Then, okay, give us 10 shillings then as a bank because we financed you.
Right.
We gave you equity in your business. You've grown your business. You've expanded your business. You've made an earning out of it. And let us also earn out of what you've really earned.
Right.
So they actually understand when you bring that particular perspective of getting stock from you, selling it, or even a person who has come to seek for finance for a laptop. Just simple, basic, from a consumer perspective,
Right.
or a car. He's going to use this car to move around, to do his own business, or
Right.
from work to home, conveniency, not being rained on, not queuing,
Right.
or having a laptop, doing your business from home, doing your meetings from home,
Right.
and then you're able to create value out of it.
Right.
Therefore, they're able to understand, yes, indeed, we are able to pay a return on this particular value that we are getting
Right.
from the bank financing. Therefore, we're able to argue with them. But then we tell them that, of course, that contract that they know of, it's called Qard Hasan, actually a benevolent loan of not giving a return. It's only one
Right.
out of maybe hundreds of thousands of other contracts that we normally have from a Sharia perspective. So we tell them,
Right.
you should not just only know one, but there are also others on the other side that can also be very beneficial to you.
Right. Interesting sentiments. Hamed, what is a logical markup? Because I'm assuming since, Islamic banking is quite new, a lot of people who are not necessarily even looking into the logical perspective could make an interesting markup because there isn't a market rate. Each bank sets its own markup. And as Swale has said, the shilling does, the value decreases by around 12% per year. So you need to be making money that is logical, but a markup that will not be squeezing your customers. How exactly do you calculate that?
I didn't know you'll turn to me with a tough question after Saleh.
I have to be fair.
To be fair. And Islamic bank is about fairness.
Right.
For sure, the pricing for the investments or the financing that we do has several other components. Remember, we spoke that Islamic bank is about profit and loss sharing.
Right.
The first question I will ask myself, where did I get this money that I financed you? And this is money that was brought to me by Swale, who is also a client. And he could also have given me money so that I invest in Sharia compliant activities and share profit with him. Now this money, I give it to you to do your business.
Right.
So the cost of funds also determines how I price my financing to you. And of course, we also look at the market because we're operating in a market that is, though it's not, there's no strict, it was like a markup of say profit rate of 13% as it was and is capped.
Right.
So there's a risk-based financing program that we look at. How risky are you?
Right.
If I find that you have been financed with other banks before, and you're on CRB showing that you don't pay financing well, so I will price you differently.
Right.
But I'll give an incentive to him who has a very excellent performance, because when I'm giving you this money, which belongs to him, there is a risk of losing it, and yet he wants this money.
Right.
So it varies from customer to customer, but we try to control it to be able within, because we do not want to overcharge, because it's about social welfare.
Right.
So we want to contribute to your economy, but we also give us back so that we can share with the investors who are our customers who have given us these deposits.
Right.
So it's a question of who are we lending to, which sector are we financing, okay? and we look at character.
Right.
What is the character of the person we're financing?
Right.
That determines how we price these facilities.
Right.
Yes.
And you know, even in the government, they were looking into behavioral assessment when it comes to, you know, Hustler Fund. They were looking at the behavior, the repayment behavior, and then, you know, trying to see how exactly they could finance this person even further. Now, Swale, what would you say is a logical markup? Because we will find that there are some people who are not necessarily even looking towards the beneficial aspect of Islamic banking, who may come and tell people who might not have the best knowledge in Islamic banking and tell them this is the markup, but it's even higher than the conventional banking sector. How exactly do you balance that?
Oh, thank you very much. This one is, how we do it in the sector is that, you know, there is a market. We are in the same market. And if you talk about a market, we mean a place that business is done.
Right.
If you go to sell, you know, cattle in a livestock market, you'll price, you look at the price in the market, then that's how you'll price your goods. If you go to the marketplace and you're selling fast-moving consumer goods, you look at the practice in the market. And here in the banking sector, we're looking at the practice in the banking sector. And remember that the practice in the banking sector is that, of course, we have the CBK, who is the regulator, who gives the best rate and how that kind of thing. Therefore, we are able to benchmark that if the CBK has set its particular rate and this particular level, then what kind of markup as a bank will be able to put it, a reasonable markup, so that it's able to play in the market. Therefore, we're looking at our counterparts, the same banks in the same locality, in the same market. How are they pricing their products in relation to the CBK best rate? So from there, we are able to do our pricing. Basically, we benchmark on the best practice in the market. See that we cannot be a lower. Maybe people say that Islamic banking is cheap. No, it doesn't mean that it has to be cheap for it to be Islamic at the end of the day. We've not been told to be cheap anywhere. It's only that a notion that we have to be cheap. But in essence, we have to benchmark with the best practices in the market and how best pricing is, because even from a Sharia perspective, we don't have a Sharia control aspect from a Sharia teaching from the Prophet, peace be upon him, because the market will regulate itself. When the demand is high, definitely, the prices will go high. And when the demand is low, of course, the prices will move low. And that one depends now, like in our Kenyan market right now, if you look at the bonds, for example, they're priced maybe right now at 18% as a return. So therefore, if banks are not going to give the customers a return that is higher than that, customers will rush to the bonds. Therefore, for us to be able to give a customer a return that is higher than maybe 18% or slightly above that, then it means we have to price our financing a little bit higher, so that we're able to get a return for ourselves and also a return to the investor. Therefore, we benchmark in the market, and also we look at CBK regulatory framework on how it's able to do the pricing in itself.
Right. Yep. Something very important that you've mentioned is that Islamic banking is not cheap, it's fair. And that is a very important distinction to make. And as we even look into that, Hamed, we have a few minutes left, and I'm sure I can give you gentlemen a minute and a half each. When it comes to investment, this is another part of Islamic banking, not necessarily borrowing. How exactly do you advise your customers on investing their money? What are some of the packages that you can give?
As I mentioned earlier, I think as a market, we have very few investment options. And that is being looked at from a regulatory and other participants. So in terms of investment, most of the investment within banks, we do, we ask to do what we call mudaraba deposits. So it's like they share, if you have, I don't want to call it idle cash, but you don't have cash that you don't have immediate use for it at your disposal. You give to us, so we give to, we finance whoever wants to maybe to get into business. When they share with us profit, then we share with them. So we give them an indicative rate. That this is you given as 500,000. So it depends on the tenure and the amount. So that will be what would be on the convention side, the equivalent of maybe fixed deposit. So we have those arrangements. So as a bank, we also do placements with other Sharia compliant banks. So that those are the investment vehicles we have, so that when we get a return on that, then we can also be able to share with our investors, our customers, because the relationship between Islamic banking customers and bank and the customer is not a lender-borrower relationship. We are partners. We are participants. we participate in an investment. When you participate, when you partner with me to do a business, you expect returns out of it.
Right.
So we do not take all of it of our own. So we share with our customers what the surplus on the arrangement that we have with them prior to that, according to the contract that we have with them.
Right, it's a partnership.
Yes, it is.
That is the most important
Yes.
aspect. It's a partnership.
Yes.
Now, Swale, maybe as we start to conclude, KCB is offering competitive, packages for its customers. Where is the future of Islamic banking in KCB?
Oh, wow. The future is bright.
Right.
Or above we'll go above the sky. The sky could not be the limit.
Yes.
Because actually we have aligned a lot of products that are coming to the market. I would not like to say them here right now, but I know they'll hear in the market.
Right.
Actually, and the future is very bright. And we are bringing on board quite a number of products that we shall be launching in the near future for our customers.
Right.
And even KCB Sahel Banking is opening quite a number of branches that are going to be specifically for we call them Sahel centers.
Right.
And even tomorrow we are opening one
Yes,
at,
one.
at
BBS
Isili,
Mall.
at
Right.
BBS Mall,
Right.
exclusively for Sahel, but is open for every customer who comes in.
All right.
Therefore, when we talk about the future for KCB Sahel Banking, is very bright, and actually we are bringing on board quite a number of customers who are serious and are having a very large book, and also we are also rolling out even the training courses for our staff so that they're able to, I think, on in-learning basis, so that they're able to equip them with skills and knowledge to be able to meet the customer needs that they require.
Very
Therefore, I might say that the plan that we have, it's very great, and we are going to conquer the market as never before.
Right, fantastic. Hamid, any final sentiments?
Look, I have close to 7 or 8 billion to finance customers between now and this.
Right, you have the money.
I have the money. I want to partner with them. I want to support their businesses. What could be any other better thing than that? Because now people are really struggling in terms, how do I make my business better and bigger? I'm calling them to come on board. We have around 7+ billion between now and December. What will happen next year? God knows. It will be much, much bigger. The allocation for us will be bigger to support them. So I have to ask them to come on board and enjoy our services. I will promise them to give them in-class service to ensure that everything, the assurance that all our products are Sharia compliant.
Right.
Yes.
Hamid and Swale are saying that the money is there. If you require financing, it's just you to walk into, any of their branches to claim this money and this partnership. With that, we conclude this topic. We have been talking about Islamic financing. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, we will be having an even more interesting topic that we can look into. But for now, it's good night from me. My name is Hiba Saeed.